Hey guys, check this out.
Hello and welcome to Check This Out, a podcast where we take an analytical view of the media that appeals to us as individuals and why. I am L, your host, and with me today is special guest and enemy of the show, Helena. If you would, please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, my name's Helena. I host a podcast called Hey, I Love That Movie, which is more about nostalgia. And I'm here to talk about something that I really enjoy.
Speaking of, you have brought something that you enjoy and are passionate about. Could you talk a little bit about it in your own words?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about Planet Zoo, which is a fantastic little video game, well, quite big video game, computer game, that came out in 2019 that has held my hand through the pandemic. Or at least the latter half of the pandemic.
Yeah, the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Yes. It's Zoo Tycoon, but on steroids.
I honestly can't remember where I first heard that as a euphemism, but I just love it.
It's such a good game. I love all simulation, city builder, like creation games, and I have done since I was a kid. But this one combines that kind of creative aspect with my love of animals, and they are super cute. And there's baby ones and adult ones, and you breed them, and people come and look at them and give you money for it. And it's so good.
Did you ever get into like the Sim Ant or like Sim Tower?
No, Sim Ant.
Yeah, that's like one of the ones that gets held up as like a big weird name. Like still the same guy that does all Sim City and Sim Helicopter and whatnot.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it's a bit out there.
Yeah, that's one that I think my parents probably would have bought me if I'd asked them nicely, but they might have had some questions.
Yeah.
Like, go outside. There's plenty of ants out there.
And not like we asked the nice man in the shop what every kid loves to play.
This could be something that I'd ask for, like a Sims expansion pack, and I got this for Christmas from my nan instead.
They always mean well.
Yeah, my favourite, my grandmother bought me Wii Monopoly. The current Monopoly, I think the Switch Monopoly is really good, but Wii Monopoly is not good.
I do find it very hard to imagine that any version of Monopoly is good. I just don't like the game, unfortunately.
So games that I do like are like these like city, anything from Sims, like Sims 1 to 4, where you're like controlling literal individuals, all the way up to like city builders where the individual doesn't really matter. It's all about like strategy and getting everything to flow properly. Big fan also of City Skylines, if you've ever played that.
Sort of taking that SimCity concept that they kind of squandered themselves with, what was it, SimCity 4?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, we're actually going to make it a good game.
Well, I feel like that's what happened with like. So we have City Skylines is to SimCity as Planet Zoo is to like Zoo Tycoon. Like it's the same concept, but just actually developed and produced in a way that makes it fun and more functional. And there's just like so many more creative options. Like what I love about Planet Zoo is that everyone can have you can start off everyone with the same stuff, and they'll create totally different zoos, and like they won't look the same. And everyone has little like things that they might always fall back on or designs they always enjoy, but you can always find like a new way of doing things. Whereas in a lot of games, it can be like there is the barrier wall tool, and you use that to make either windows or barriers that you can't see through, and the guests look through that, and that's it. Whereas in this, like, there's so many options for, like, you can have it so that the animals are just in like a lowered pit that they can't climb up if it's like steep enough, so people can just sort of peer in and look through. You can have it so there's a certain amount of deep water because some animals can't swim, so they won't go out further than that. You can just use building tools. You don't have to use like actual barriers. So they've got all the different building equipment and assets. So you can just use rocks or, slabs of concrete, or, you could probably build it out of deck chairs if you wanted to.
Yeah, or like a certain particular YouTuber that I watch who built an entire floating platform of just dirt for animals to live on, and then drop an entire said floating platform full of corpses on his patrons.
Nice. Yes, it also you can do a lot of messing about in this game. It doesn't have to be serious.
You
at
want to
all.
be involved in nature? Well, you're going to get it.
There's lots of YouTube videos that are amazing where like they've put so much time into just wrecking the game and trying to find exactly what it's not supposed to be used for, and doing it to the max.
Yep.
I play it a little bit more straightforward. I like to play it on, just trying to breed nice animals and have different areas and have it all flow and be pretty. But I like the control. I think that's what's always really satisfied me about these kind of games, is I need like an element of control in my life, and I've often found it in these.
Yeah. So I have my prepared list of questions that are designed to delve a bit deeper into that enjoyment of yours, if that's all right.
Absolutely, fire away.
So, question 1. Imagine I was someone who has been recently awoken from a coma, or resurrected from being frozen in ice, or even an inanimate object gifted knowledge of modern times and sentience. So essentially, I know what media is, but have never experienced any. How would you explain Planet Zoo without comparing it to something that I wouldn't know?
Okay. So do you understand the concept of a zoo?
Yes.
Great. So we're off to a really good start. Because otherwise I think that might be a bit more complicated.
Planet, though.
Imagine all that exists in your world is a zoo entrance, and then you have essentially an endless box of Lego. Do you understand what Lego is?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. You've got building blocks and assets and things that you can put together yourself, however the way you want. And you can build, put these things together, fill it with animals. The better it is, the more people will come and look at it. The more you can charge for people to come in. It's all done on your computer, so it doesn't matter if your zoo doesn't work, because no one actually ever gets hurt. And you can edit absolutely everything to be as perfect or as weird or as funky as you want.
So it's like a movie, or like just sort of moving pictures?
Yeah, imagine
or...
the story of a zoo made by yourself. So it starts with nothing, no animals. You have a little pot of money. You have to make that stretch. Use your time wisely to build it up and make a zoo that people want to come and visit. So you might start off with only, relatively mundane zoo with 2 animals or 1 animal that people can come and look at. So you might start off with just some wolves or, some tortoises. People come look at that. They give you money for looking at the animals. You use that money to buy other animals and build more shelters. And then before you know it, it's been 12 hours. You've not ate, you've not slept. And you've got an entire multi-animal zoo.
Sort of the capitalism of animals.
Yes,
You put animals in to get more animals out.
I don't have a problem with it because it's not it's not real. I personally struggle with the idea of using animals for profit or entertainment. However, there is like an element of this game that is about conservation. So it does teach you about animals and what their habitats are, and you get points for sort of breeding endangered animals with the best genes, and you can, expand and release animals to the wild. Or, however, you also have the option to just trade the animals with other zoos on the network,
Yeah.
which can often get you bigger profits.
Like I was going to ask, on the scale of P.T. Barnum's circus to like a wildlife sanctuary,
Mm-hmm.
where would the average Planet Zoo fit?
I have no idea because everyone's zoo is so different. I try to keep mine on the nice end. But if your zoo doesn't meet the requirements for that animal, you'll get a low rating. And if it's bad enough, people will come and protest at your zoo, and you'll get fined, and you'll get in trouble. Your zoo's reputation will go down, and eventually, you'd make less and less money until I guess you go bankrupt, or you fix the problems. So the animals get you get like a rating of what's important to them. So like their environment, some animals need lots of long grass to hide in and eat, and some need like sand or mud or rock. Some need like a certain amount of water, a certain amount of plants in their terrain. A certain amount of space is obviously quite important. So you can't just have if you had a lion in a 8 foot by 8 foot box, it would be pretty miserable, and everyone would kind of be looking at it. And if you click on any of the guests, they'll be like, that doesn't look like enough space for a lion. Sad face. And then, people would get angry enough that they'd come and start protesting. They'll protest anything as well, because it's quite easy. Once you've got, 30 or 40 different species of animals going on in your zoo, you might forget about something. And then you're like, oh, shit. And you've let your scarab beetles breed out of control. Their cage is filthy, and you've suddenly got people protesting the welfare of scarab beetles at your zoo.
Well, it's like, hey, you're welcome to take some if you want.
Well, yeah, you just, it's an easy fix normally. It's like, oh shit, okay, I've got to sell 30 scarab beetles.
Yeah.
And, okay, they're happy again now, clean out their cage.
So I assume the opening a burger joint next to an enclosure that says giraffe burgers, where said enclosure is the smallest possible space for one giraffe, and you have crammed 30 in them, so they form some sort of giraffe hydra. Probably not as good as you might want.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could do that if you wanted to. There are, for a game that's about loving animals, all the food stands appear to serve meat. So there's, you could have it.
That is part of the circle of life.
It is. So you can have a like a buffalo sanctuary with chief beef. One of the games. The game has sort of these brands in it that you can use as they're sort of like equivalents to there's like Gulpy, which is like a soda and lemonade stand kind of thing, and then there's various other places, and they have you can put, if you wanted to have a super commercial looking zoo, there's adverts that you can put up and billboards that have all their branding on, or you can kind of tuck them away and have your own sort of themed shells for these stores, so you don't have to sort of see them as much.
I remember always in theme park world and all of that, just naming the places Pizza Hat, because I was thinking, oh, I'm such a genius.
Yeah, there's lots that can be done with it, and the however, I find that I keep on sort of making the same kinds of zoos over and over again. So what I've recently done is download loads and loads of creator content from the Steam Workshop, content that other people have made.
Yeah, just the fan mods rather than the official
not
stuff.
I haven't gone down the mods route with this just yet. City Skylines I've absolutely ploughed with mods, but Planet Zoo I haven't, because the game's quite the game isn't perfect, let's put it that way, and there's a lot that can go wrong without putting mods in the way. So there's quite regular patches and updates, and I shouldn't really put anyone off, because by God is it a lot better than it used to be. But there were lots of little glitches that could happen, and they weren't necessarily game-breaking glitches, but they could be really irritating. So now the only glitches I have left are quite entertaining. So every now and then, like, your alligator will swim through the barrier.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, he's getting out.
and it will just be still swimming, but 10 foot up in the air. And, people are like, an alligator, and they're running away, and the alligator's just kind of swimming around, and you're like, you have to capture it and put it away. But it's like, yeah, how did that get out?
Don't worry about it. Look at our penguins.
It's quite cool though. If it's an animal that's like not dangerous, people don't scream and run away. They just sort of, if you click on their thoughts, they're like, I don't think that animal's supposed to be out here. But they're like, just carry on with their day.
Which is weird because, like, I've been to a few zoos and almost all of them have at least one peacock running loose, like just as part of the, this is the peacock's territory, just don't walk on this part of the path.
Yeah, there is like the option of having peacocks just, I'd imagine if with a bit of like creative barrier placement, you could have peacocks walking around sort of where everyone is all the time. But you have this option, like with certain animals, guests can enter their habitats, same as like a normal zoo.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a lot of, like, basically all the Australian zoos, it's like, here's the kangaroo patch, just go walk around and don't fight any of them.
Yeah, don't punch any of them in the face.
But try not to.
I think kangaroos are deemed too violent in Planet Zoo for that.
I mean, I believe it, they are pretty violent.
But there's, like meerkats and lemurs, you can go in flamingos, certain chimps and like Japanese macaques, and I'm learning a lot about animals. But some animals are also quite shy, so like you can't have them. It's not that you can't even have like the guests be too like nosy, and they need a lot of hiding places. Otherwise, they get stressed. And then the welfare drops, and people will start protesting about how stressed out your panther is.
And then the more protesters come, the more stressed it gets, which brings more protesters.
Yeah, no, it is a bit bewildering sometimes when they protest for stress. They'll have their little placards and they'll be screaming and shouting next to the stressed out animal.
Perfect way to calm down on a weekend. So question 2. Hypothetically, our positions are reversed, and I'm guesting on your immensely popular and award-winning podcast. Wink, wink. I've just answered the previous question with your response verbatim. What stood out the most to you?
Oh gosh, I have to think about what I just said. I guess the amount of control you have over this game, and how much you can change, and what like all the different things you can do, rather than it just being a sort of drag and drop style game, is really interesting. Because it's a lot harder work. Like just building the zoo like takes quite a long time, as well as so it's an equal part. It's more about building than it is about gameplay. Unlike certain games like The Sims, where it's like it's more about using your sim to do stuff.
Does it ever get to a point where the game plays itself?
Yeah. There's if you don't want to keep adding to it, then you can normally let your zoo sort of tick over. But what will happen is, animals could inbreed. You've got to keep track of, what animals are on contraception and who's dad, and making sure that everyone's sort of tickety-boo in that region. So obviously, if you just let it play for years and years, eventually all your animals would die out or just become horrifically inbred. But then the inbred ones do tend to be less fertile, as you probably imagine. Apart from the insects. They decided that insects, they don't care.
Yeah, insects are fine. They live like 2 weeks. But it just I think it's Finland or something. One of the Scandinavian countries had to release an app like on the national level.
Oh, wasn't that Iceland?
Iceland, maybe? I'm not sure. It's definitely one of those countries up there. Just like, yeah, no, as per the national government, we've released this app that helps you track your lineage to the person you're dating so that you don't get any inbreeding. Or at least a very bare minimum.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Iceland. I remember reading about that. It was originally going to be a dating app, but then I think people decided that it was actually better used as like people basically using it to check they weren't related before going on dates.
Yeah, just because the population size.
They've added a feature called incest spoiler. It's brilliant.
As you do. I mean, like you've said with the animals, you got to make sure that they're not like accidentally committing a cardinal sin.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. Oh, this sounds bad. Sometimes you can let them if you've got something specific you're working on.
Yeah.
So I like having black panthers, but panthers aren't necessarily naturally black. Like that is a genetic variation. So sometimes you might let that carry on more than you should.
So it's more eugenics.
Yeah. So it's like the game doesn't directly punish you or like it will let you know, but it doesn't stop it. So you can do it and deal with the consequences. And then, but there's normally enough sort of fresh meat that you can either order. Or order sounds bad. Makes them you can get animals through two different sort of means. There's like money, like cash money, and then there's I think they're called like conservation points, and those points you can spend to get sort of different animals that are put on the market. Either sort of, I think there's some like added in via Planet Zoo itself, but then it's also other people's animals that have been bred. So you can then charge a certain amount of conservation points, and people will try and, if they can afford it, they can buy it. Which means that some really rare variations get snapped up or like put on the market for like insanely high prices.
It's just a shame none of those panthers are getting into heaven.
True. And they all die at my zoo. I don't tend to release them to the wild.
Well, they shouldn't have coveted that ox. Because that's what's done it, obviously.
Ox, one of the things you can't actually have in the zoo. It's a weird mixture of animals. Like there's certain animals where you're like, well, obviously you'd have that, and it's got a lot better because they've released a lot of DLC. I don't know how you feel about DLC.
Yeah, it is one of those ones where it's like, where do I lean on this scale?
It's DLC heavy. The game isn't unplayable without it, but the DLC adds a lot. It's kind of like The Sims in that respect. It's not as bad as EA. It's not, you don't have to constantly be topping up with like £10-15 packs all the time.
And it's not the $20 horse armor.
No, like the packs are like tend to be quite substantial, and they tend to be very like specifically themed. So if you don't fancy it, it's not game breaking to not have it. You can miss that one and get the next one. And they also tend to be they're more affordable as well. They're not horribly expensive. And when you think about the animals, like the animation, I'm not sure if you've looked at Planet Zoo much, but like the animations for the animals, and like the quality, and like how detailed they are, is pretty fantastic.
I have seen some of it. Yeah.
So like a lot of work does go into it, and you can understand that does add up.
Yeah, it's not like some other games that I can think of that are like, oh, this is a $30 game with a $5 effort.
Yeah.
Or even the other ones, it's like, oh, this is normally a $60 game, but somehow it's mysteriously always on sale for 75 cents.
Yeah, I must admit, like if you're paying full price for this kind of game, you just need to do a bit more research.
Yeah, it's like those carpet stores that are always going out of business.
Yes, yeah, you can normally find a better deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got like favorite packs that I use a lot, and then I still use a lot of base game stuff as well. But there's certain things that like I really wanted. So when like the aquatic pack came out that had king penguins in, like, I like emperor penguins. I had to get that. Like,
Yeah.
I want penguins, and it's got the little baby penguin and the adult penguin, and it's fantastic, and it's very cute, and it came with like other features to make sort of more sort of underwater kind of and water themed parks.
But I guess the big question is, if there was a circus that fired a penguin out of a cannon, would you want to go see it?
Yeah, I think if you want to hear more about my thoughts on that, you should head over to Hey, I Love That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the old films we watched when we were younger to see if they still held up. Gosh, Dan is a lot better at that than me.
Yeah, just the subtle plug in there.
Subtle plug. Yeah, I think that was the chicken run episode, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
No chickens in this game. No chickens in Planet Zoo.
Yet. May come in a future DLC. Will be weird though.
I think the newest one is the North America Animal Pack, which I haven't got. But I've got the Europe pack, which, as someone obviously from Europe, was a bit like, do we even have any animals? Turns out kind of.
Now, there is a bit of sticky political question, and I'm going to avoid there and let you say that you're from Europe.
I'm from Europe, geographically.
Yeah.
And so that's got, it comes with like an ibex, which is like a kind of deer, and then a Eurasian lynx, which again is like, that's really like Eurasian. Okay, but sure. Deer, badger, which is fantastic, love badgers, and then fire salamander. And I'm like, I do not consider that a particularly European animal, but sure, whatever. And then it's like the themed like building stuff is all like medieval, which I thought was quite funny. Because
that's Europe.
Europe's just, we're just old, and we've got lots of stone.
It's like that one joke, the Americans showing an English guy around. It's like, oh yeah, a country was founded about 200 years ago. This guy just goes, yeah, so what? My local pub's older than that.
Yeah.
Turns out you guys have been around a while.
Yeah, I think the school I went to was founded in the 1600s. So yeah, pretty old. But I don't really mind that, because I know for a fact that the Australia pack is probably, you'd be like looking at that like, okay, why are these assets like this? It's kind of like rusty corrugated iron, and the animals are a little bit more obvious because you guys have some pretty funky exclusive animals.
Yeah, I think that's mostly the environment's doing. But the corrugated tin sheds and things, it's like, yeah, no, that kind of matches. My actual local zoo is kind of like that. Where it's just like, yeah, no, it just looks bad.
Yeah, there's also like there's some bits in this game that aren't, I guess, probably culturally sensitive. I don't think they're deliberately culturally insensitive, but it's just when you're trying to condense something into a £7 or £8 game pack. So I guess it's probably like a $14, $15 DLC.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if they added the famous Australia tax onto it and make it like $30.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you got to ship all those digital goods somehow.
Yes. Well, absolutely. Yeah. So it's got things that I don't know if they're offensive, but I guess they're going on the Aboriginal kind of like painted wooden poles with certain styles and patterns on. And I don't particularly know if that's a thing or if that's sort of condensed. Like the Africa pack comes with a lot of like African masks that you can put up as decoration.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, touchy subject.
Yeah.
Definitely one you really want to be careful of.
I don't feel very qualified to comment on it. I can just laugh at the Europe pack is old and we've got badgers. Saying that, the park that the local, I guess, park that I've been to most recently in the UK does have badgers. It's not quite pompous enough to call itself a zoo, though. It's like a wildlife park.
Yeah. Any mushrooms or snakes?
Mushrooms or snakes in England or in the game?
In that one park that you go to?
Oh,
Or is it
probably
just
lots of
badges, badges,
mushrooms.
badges?
Ha. Oh gosh, sorry, that took me a second.
God, I'm so weird. For reference, I just looked it up. All of the packs are 14.50 Australian,
Nice, I was pretty close
except
then.
except for the music pack, which is 16.95.
Well, that's weird. But also, who buys the music tracks?
If it's included in the purchase, yes. If it's extra DLC, why?
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, is that the Planet Zoo Deluxe Edition upgrade pack?
No, it is a separate one.
Oh, weird. Okay, because there's I did buy the Deluxe Edition upgrade.
You, me, and other animals. The music of Planet Zoo.
Nerd.
Because realistically, if you're tempted by the soundtrack, theoretically they're in the game files somewhere. You just go rip them off.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
endorsing that officially, but
Yeah, I mean it's worth a shot, isn't it? To save yourself however much that is. Yeah, because you could buy a whole extra part of the game with that money. I've bought this game an embarrassing amount of times. Twice. Actually, yeah, I've bought it twice. It's not too bad, but I've bought it twice, including quite a few of the expansions twice. Because this game it's heavy. You need a good computer for it.
Yeah.
Or it just will not run. I think when you look at it and you look at the animation and you look at how big it is, it's pretty obvious why. But my poor little laptop, oh no, I couldn't do that to this little baby. He'd combust. I think the fans just turned on at the thought. Or maybe it's just running the video of the Planet Zoo website.
Oh,
so
boy.
I had to. I bought it on my partner's PC, and he's quite. Oh, he's not going to listen to this. He's quite precious about his space on his computer, and it's a big game as well. So he was like, "Well, I'm going to delete it." Like I'd played it for a bit and I'd really enjoyed it, and I'd made some fantastic zoos. And he was like, "I was like, oh, I can. Don't worry, don't like." You can delete it because I can play it using like the Steam family thing.
Yeah.
Where you can play each other's games. We didn't realize that you can't play at the same time, even if you're playing different games. So then my partner decided during the pandemic, peak pandemic, to buy a new computer that he got his mate to build for him. And he gave me the carcass of his computer
Just
for me
the
to use. Yes, I mean most of it was pretty much unusable, but it did have a graphics card, which is what I needed because not sure if you remember, graphics cards had their moment. I think they're still pretty bloody expensive.
Yeah, but I mean, at least they're all honest and only selling to gamers that actually want them, and certainly not doing anything else with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
mine only mines Bitcoin at night, so.
Yeah, regardless of what recent news articles may or may not have come out at time of release.
But my partner bit the bullet and got himself a nice spenny graphics card that I think he paid well over RRP for.
Yeah.
And I got his, but then it turned out like it was I needed I needed more RAM. And then his motherboard was too old, so I ended up having to replace most of it. But it was mostly like the cheap parts. I think I kept the power supply unit as well, so that saved me a bit of money.
The RAM's the easy part, though. You just download the Linkin Park exe that promises you to download more RAM.
Yeah, and then if you have any problems, you delete system 32.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page about that, because people say that building computers is complicated.
It's like any video game, the easiest cheat code is Alt F4. Get you straight through. Question 3. We can tell that obviously this is a subject that you care a lot about, but what got you to give it a chance in the first place?
Basic bitch answer. It was recommended to me on my Steam library, and I was like, oh my god, I want to play this so badly. And then I was like, oh, what are the requirements? And then I was like, oh no, I can't play that.
I will play this later.
I will play this when I'm able to. So it was always in like the back of my mind. I always really wanted to play it. I watched a lot of people playing it on YouTube. like James Turner, I want to say, if you know him. He does a lot.
Depending on which one, because I do know a couple.
Okay, I think that's his. He's got different usernames for different games, but he does a lot of like Planet Zoo and a lot of City Skylines and a lot of other games.
The famous YouTuber James Turner, not internet sketch comedian James Turner or Pokemon designer James Turner.
Yes, the first one for sure.
Yeah, which is a shame because the second one really should get more rep.
Oh, needs a new name.
Oh, probably.
But yeah, so that's how I sort of scratched that itch for a long time, and just sort of my laptop could run The Sims, so I was playing that like a lot, and then other older games that my laptop was able to run, because it's not like I have a bad laptop. Like, it was good when I bought it. I just bought it in 2013. No, later, 2017, something like that. It's age. It's an aged crone of a laptop now.
Yeah, tech time just goes so quick.
Yes. So I've never really had like up to this is the first time in my life as an adult is when I've had like a current gen console and like a computer that can play games. But even I mean my PC with the older graphics card is already like there's a lot of games I couldn't play.
Yeah, and I mean, like, when it comes down to it, sometimes that's all you need for a recommendation is just someone going, hey, look at this. And then you're in.
I love animals, and these are baby animals, and there's so much animation in this game. Like the animals don't just wander around, like they have different behaviors. They climb trees, they go swimming, they play with each other, they roll over, they poop in all kinds of different positions, they sleep, they don't actually fuck. Oh, are we allowed to swear?
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Cool. You don't see them have sex, but you are told they're about to have sex, and then they stand near each other. And the same like giving birth, as well as like just they'll lie down and then little babies will appear next to them. So it's not like super graphic.
Yeah.
But they're so fuzzy, and like considering how furry obviously a lot of the animals are, they're gorgeous.
So this is like laser niche focused on like you specifically because no one else cares about baby animals, I assume?
I'm not going to say that I'm the only baby animal lover, but I'm going to say if you want to sell me something specifically, having it associated with baby animals is a pretty good start.
There you go, marketers. There's some free ad revenue right there for you.
Yeah, my ad profile or whatever it is just like at the top. It's like baby animals, and then
they say sex sells. Gone.
Now I'm all about
Irrelevant.
that post-sex baby animal.
Yeah, the aftermath.
The aftermath of the sex. Yeah. Oh, platypus. Sorry, there's you can get platypuses in the new pack. Platypi.
I know someone who would be very excited by that.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Once they've got an animal, you're like, "Oh, my favorite animal," and then you're like, "Oh, I can have it in my game. I can breed it. I can name each of my animals."
You got to have something to put on the plaque at the front of it. It's like, oh, here's Sparky the alligator.
Yeah, but then you get really sad when they die. But you can have memorials now.
Yeah. That's all right. It's just whenever one of them happens to die, you suddenly get a saving on your food bill that month. And then you just get Sparky too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually some animals I name, some of them I do not. And then some of them I get quite their names are slightly less personal because I'm looking at their genetics and their breeding. So it's they get called sort of after their genes and their number. And it's
I'm just getting throwbacks to Final Fantasy VII now with all the chocobo breeding. Like, yep, red, gold, green. Oh, genetically perfect. Yes, that's your name.
It's good to name ugly animals after people you hate as well. The game, once you've got past the start of the game, the mid-game experience is money is almost no object. It's so easy to make money in this game because it's one of those ones where it's like it's got difficulty settings like easy, medium, and hard. And I always play on medium because I'm not in it for like that, tough gaming experience. I'm in it for the animals and like the building side of it. And obviously, the building side of it, I like having the limitations set by having some money and discovery and like getting the animals. I find like the sandbox version of the game a bit less fun, but I don't like it being too hard. So I live in my zoos exist in a world where everyone fucking loves the zoo and will come at like for however much money if it's good enough. At the start, they'll be like, your zoo is overpriced if you try and bump up your prices too much, and people won't really come as much. But if you underprice it as well, people will be like, your zoo's like, I can't believe your zoo's this cheap. You could probably raise the price.
Yeah, it's like my brother always plays theme park world and whatnot. Entry is always free. Toilets cost 10 cents, and all the rides are like exactly priced.
Nice.
So you can come in and look at everything, but you're not doing anything without paying for it.
So, yeah, Planet Zoo is a different model, I think, because obviously there are rides in it actually, but it's not a theme park. Planet Coaster is a game that I probably will get at some point. But I'm happy. I mean, it's not got animals in it, so like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a couple, but mostly as accessories to rides.
Which makes sense. But so the model is you have like an entrance fee, which will normally be quite high, obviously depending on what sort of stage your zoo is at. And then there's like donation points, and people donate money to the pots next to the animals, depending on how much they like them or how educated they feel about it. And then you can also charge for like, I always do like a safari car ride, which I find really fun. The pathing and sorting out the actual like gates for that can be a pain in the arse, but it's worth it. It's worth persevering with. Like the pathing tools and everything have got so much better than when I first played it back in I think 2020 when I first got it. And the game was a mess, and now it's a lot more functional.
Yeah. So, question 4. For some people, a sense of community and like-mindedness are integral to their enjoyment of something. To your knowledge, is there a community around Planet Zoo that you're aware of? And if so, what are they like?
Yeah, there's a community. Like it's big on YouTube. Like there's quite a lot of YouTubers that play the game, or at least it's sort of dropped off the radar a bit now, but there's certainly people that play the game and live stream it, and I'm sure it's on Twitch. I'm not hugely into Twitch, so I couldn't speak for that. And then it's got a really active Steam Workshop community.
I was going to say, like you said, that the workshop modding was fairly prolific. So I imagine at the very least there's people who are technically invested in it. Yeah,
and they do really useful things as well. Like I hadn't used them before. I think because I'd always had like an idea of what I wanted to do, so I just go in and do it. And I didn't need inspiration. When I went back in to sort of start playing it again to talk to you about it, I thought, well, first I'll go on the Steam Workshop and see what other people are doing. And they've done some amazing things, like things you'd never think of, using all these really complicated building assets that, I sort of forgot existed. And people make some absolutely gorgeous things that I can then basically steal and put in my zoo and make my zoo look really pretty and different. And I'm like, oh, I'm so clever.
Yeah. Like a little water jet behind a picture of a lion that looks like it's crying. Yes. I don't know why you would do that, but
one of the things I did work out pretty quickly was how to make it look like all the animals were peeing in my fountains.
Of course you would. Why not?
But yeah, no, it's a really good community, and I'm not on like the subreddits or anything like that, but I can't imagine it's that bad. It'll have its.
I mean, Reddit though is kind of a 6 of 1.
There's Reddit is what you make of it.
Yeah. And what Reddit makes of it.
Yes. Big shout out to my crew at the Rat subreddit. That's a great subreddit.
What, r/rat?
r/rats, all caps.
Close enough. I suppose the r/rat is for anyone trying to find a rapid antigen test in this day and
Yes.
age. Ugh. Yeah,
Well,
that's
I mean,
fun.
in England we call them latty flows, so yeah.
Yeah, it's the same basic test. We just
Yeah.
call them rat tests because we're idiots and say test twice. Like the
A
ATM machine.
raw test is just testing how posh you are.
Yeah. Or how religious I think it is. Religious authority. Something
Oh
like
yeah.
that. So we'll take a quick break here to have everyone's favourite part of the show, a word from the sponsors. Thank you, sponsors. I mean, just such a great ad read on that, don't you think?
That was brilliant. It was beautiful. Weirdly well connected. Yeah, really connected to what we've been talking about today.
Yeah, just go out and get 3 of them. Unless it's for the army or casino, then just get none of them. And unless you want to, which is weird, but hey, I can't stop you.
Don't join 3 different armies, you might get in trouble.
Yeah, go for 4. That'll be fun. So, question 5. There are many aspects of media that resonate differently with different people. What is your favourite part?
My favourite part of this game is, I think I've said it already, is the building. And because it runs really well on my computer and there's no like limit to how like the size of my zoo. You can also like change the settings just so it's less high depth and you can like expand your zoo to have, you know, a crazy amount of animals. But there's always something to do, there's always something to keep an eye on, but you can also pause the game and just build and make something absolutely perfect. Like there's no it's your own time you're wasting. Like you could just sit there and I get so involved and so absorbed. Like I tend to listen to the radio or podcasts or something. But my partner has pointed out to me the irony of me sat there absolutely absorbed in creating like this perfect world for these animals whilst ignoring my 3 pet rats that are sat next to me. But they like to watch as well, so it's fine.
It is interesting then in like a game that's focused around like zoo management and animal care, basically, is that it has such a robust building engine that it can like pull you right in.
It's fantastic. It's so much better than it like a zoo game kind of warrants. And if you do like look at what other people have built, well, I'd show you my zoos, but they are pretty mundane in comparison to what some people are capable of.
Yeah.
But they're just brilliant.
For me, it's just like you place the prefab buildings and it's like, yeah, that's good enough. But then you get the people who are like, I spent 6 hours on this 2x2 square of lawn and it looks gorgeous, but the rest of it is so tiring.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the beauty of these kind of games, and a lot of them are the same. Where it's like you can if you're really into strategy and playing the game, and I don't know, trying to breed the ultimate white West Lowland gorilla, you can do that, and you can have a rubbish zoo that just meets the requirements, and you've just put down the building. You don't even have to decorate the buildings. You can just do that.
Slab of concrete, yeah.
Yeah. And as long as you've got the right amount of trees, or even just the same tree over and over, and the right amount of toys for the gorillas and whatever, like it doesn't matter. If you want to recreate an Indian city, you can do that. If you want to create, like a beautiful temple or a church in like this, like the other packs, like the Europe pack, you can do that. If you want to create it's beautiful. Like it's just so creative, and it brings out so much like in the community and like what people are building. Because there's so many options, there's always something new. There's always a different way of doing it, and yeah, it's just gorgeous. I really would recommend this game because it is so fun. But it is a time suck. But at the end of the day, it's not one of those ones that it's not like Stardew Valley or Civ, games I also love, where it's like it's got that thing that pushes you to keep playing and keep playing, where it's like, oh, just one more day or just one more turn.
One more turn,
you can just
5
pause.
more minutes.
you can just pause and stop and load it back up, and you're in exactly the same place. Like, you don't have to finish. Oh, sorry, it's not my microphone. You don't have to finish a turn. You don't have to like save at a certain point. Like, it's a little bit more like freeing than that, and you can just pause it. And I'll quite happily play whilst doing other things. So I'll go back to it and then pause it and then go and do something else and then go back to it a bit later and do something else. And
So, question 6 then, following on from the previous question, what do you think would appeal the most to the general public?
I think what appeals most is the animals and the animation, because it's stunning, and you can. It's very. I think the learning curve is a bit steep at the start, but there is like a tutorial sort of. There's like a story mode in this game that I've had this game for 2 years and I've never ever tried. Well, I don't need to. And that's more the management and like building your zoo kind of side of it.
Yeah, and then if that's the type of game you were interested in, there are probably more suitable games out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love you can build it in any area in the world as well. So like I think it's got global appeal because like you can make a zoo in Australia, you can make a zoo in England, you can make a zoo in anywhere, like America, like literally there's a globe and you pick where you want your world to be, or where you want your zoo to be, and you start there. And then you can franchise as well, so you've got different zoos in different areas and you can swap out animals between them.
Now, does that have like actual mechanical differences, or is that just
so it's got different differences in like the environment. So obviously, what your base game terrain is. So like in Australia, it's desert and dry, very dry, yeah. And then it gets very hot.
Yep.
And then it can also get quite cold, but you don't have then if you're like in a place with like monsoon seasons, you have that. If you somewhere that's got snow, you have more snow, whereas snow not a big issue in Australia, as far as I can remember.
Not often, no. I think it makes the news whenever it happens.
So you don't have to worry about that. But then obviously naturally, animals that you put in the zoo there, if you have to make them cold, you have to use more like cooling equipment and air conditioning to make their terrain suitable. So like if you wanted a bunch of if you wanted polar bears in a zoo in Australia, like that's a lot more work. Whereas like if you just put the native animals in there, will be pretty happy in the climate without you having to add like heaters or coolers.
Yeah, just like a pocket of penguins in the desert. That's fine, right?
You can get the African penguins. They're cute and they have much higher tolerances. So yeah, you can have penguins if you want. And once you've got to mid game where you've got plenty of cash rolling in, it doesn't matter. Like you can just absolutely, like the environmental side of it doesn't seem to come to effect. You can just have air conditioning, like cooling units everywhere, just blasting. So
now, obviously, no sane person would do this, but hypothetically, could you destroy an entire species by just being cruel to them?
Yeah. You can starve them to death. You can. I'm pretty sure if you put an animal that is vicious, it can hunt and kill other animals. In that, if you put them in the same enclosure, something I've only ever done by accident.
I mean more along the lines of, this like endangered white rhinoceros. I want 12 of them. Oh, there's only 3 in the world. Well, I insist, and then I will kill them all, and I want more.
So yeah, I think there's a little bit of artificial inflation where like the game in the franchise mode where you connect with other players won't just mean there's no more white rhinos and that's it. They'll occasionally just make one up. But they're a lot harder to come by. So what might be happening is like there's loads of animals that you can get really easily that have like a low conservation status. So if you want to get flamingos, there's always a shit ton of flamingos, and you can get flamingos that have like average genes. They might have a few, like they might be more susceptible to illness or whatever. Or you might be able, for like only 10 conservation points, you can get like one with perfect genes or like really good genes and have a really successful flamingo colony. And then if you want to start getting like chimpanzees, that's going to take you longer because they might cost 500 conservation points a pop, which means you have to trade out some of your other animals that you've been breeding to get enough of those points to actually have a decent amount of chimpanzees, because they have like a minimum amount you need to be happy. So you might have some sort of lonely chimps for a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure about you, but I think I prefer cargo pants to jeans.
Well, I'm wearing pajama pants, so...
Yeah, there you go. I haven't changed, so I shouldn't say anything. Although I will say this. Question 7. Say that I do end up enjoying this because of your excellent recommendation. What would be your number 1 follow-up? Doesn't necessarily have to be a sequel or anything, but where would I turn to if I wanted more of the same?
I guess it depends on what you enjoyed about the game, but I'd say if you enjoyed the building aspect of it, then like The Sims 4, I think is really getting good now for like how you can customize everything. It seems pretty obvious as well, but if it's strategy that you're really enjoying, the City Skylines, I love starting with a tiny shitty hamlet and building up to like this metropolis with just the worst traffic.
Would you? I know it's probably a little bit hard to do without having a solid like recommendation basis for it, but would you include Planet Coaster in there, considering it's by the same people?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's really good. I just it's one of those things like if you really enjoyed Roller Coaster Tycoon and like that's got a lot of nostalgia for you, then you'll probably really enjoy Planet Coaster. Like it just sort of makes sense like that. Those sort of games were really popular. I never played that game. I didn't have it. I played games that were more city builders or like strategy, like Stronghold, Age of Empires, that kind of game.
I remember having the demo version of Roller Coaster Tycoon at high school because we didn't have access to the internet or computers before that, and yeah, just the thrill of making a roller coaster that would just back up and then launch itself off a ramp into a crowd of people.
Yes.
Very hard to beat.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to play a lot of. Have you ever played Stronghold?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've heard of it from memory.
Oh, okay. It's it was fantastic, and then they brought out Stronghold 2, which was fine, and then they brought out Stronghold 3, which was a disaster. So it kind of died. The franchise kind of, I don't know. They keep trying to bring it back, but it's similar to like Age of Empires, but a little bit. It's just medieval. You can have like a map builder in that where you build your own like sandbox castle, or you can like create scenarios or whatever, and you can add animals to it. So one thing I used to do as a child was I'd make a big ring of like wooden fence, wooden wall, and then I'd fill it with rabbits, and then I'd fill it with wolves and just watch the wolves eat the rabbits.
That would be really weird if one of the rabbits survived because it ate all the wolves.
Never happened, unfortunately, but I sure gave it a good go. Yeah, I remember that. My parents were a bit worried when they found out that that's what I was doing, but they were like, it's only doing it online. It's not like I was out there killing actual rabbits.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think if my parents knew half of the stuff that I was like as a kid, they would have had me committed or worse years ago.
Yeah.
I'm looking back at it now, and even now I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's not so bad, but from an outsider perspective, that's some really like serial killer troubling type stuff.
Yeah, I guess it shows how close actually we are to serial killers. Like it doesn't take much for people to snap. Especially
Releasing
when you look at like the whole
within.
Sims, the Sims like goblin child in the basement that just paints as a way to make money, and those kind of things. Like people just, one of the most fun things in the Sims 1 was and Sims 2 was like, oh, how are you going to kill your Sim? Oh, let's delete the ladder into the swimming pool and watch them drown.
Or Dwarf Fortress, you specifically get someone infected with vampirism so you can lock them in a closet and make them an immortal accountant.
Yep. you know,
literally just do my taxes forever. You don't sleep, you don't eat, you don't get to bite anyone.
So yeah, in this game you can be cruel and interesting as well. But I haven't really explored that side of it. I haven't felt the need to because I just love making the Zeus as pretty as possible. I don't want to make it ugly. And it's because it's not like a war game. Well, obviously, like death and fighting and everything's on your mind more with like those like Rome Total War and Stronghold and Age of Empires. Like it's obviously it's a much bigger part of the game. You're just a little bit more closer to action. But in this one, obviously, like there's no one invading.
Are there like rival zoos that start up and you've got to try
Well,
and
no,
beat
there's
their
no
attendants?
subterfuge. You don't have to like be like putting out. Oh God, they've got mites outbreak in El Zoo. Don't go there. It's shit or anything like that, or like undercutting your prices. No, it's a little bit more insular than that. Like you don't.
You're really just competing against yourself mostly.
Yeah, you're just trying to get the biggest, bestest zoo. And then the competition comes more in like the auctioning of animals. So like obviously you want to sell them to make enough profit and get as many conservation points as you can. But at the same time,
you don't want to price yourself out of the market.
You don't, yeah, exactly. So it's it does give you like a recommended amount, and then you can either be like, well, actually this one is really, really good, so I reckon it'll sell, so I'll bump it up a bit, or you can reduce it. And then you can completely ignore that part of the game and just release them to the world, and that gives you a certain amount of conservation credits as well. Normally quite a few less, like 50% less, but it it's possible to totally avoid that. And obviously there's also just the sandbox mode that has everything open and everything researched, and you just do whatever you want. But I find that a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah, just having the choice paralysis.
Yeah. Well, what happens is the same that happens to me in real life, which is where I just start about 30 different things and finish none of them, then get overwhelmed and stop playing.
Okay. First of all, how dare you? Oh, God, that ADHD creativity brain is just no good.
Yeah, I just... decision paralysis is... it's hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it, but my favourite is knowing I need to shower. Yep. So I can't do anything until I shower, but not showering. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I've got to do that, and then I've also got to do this. So do I eat or do I shower? And then suddenly it's been an hour, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, or I've got an appointment at 4. It's currently 10. Well, I can't do anything else. Yeah. Question 8, I do have to tweak a bit because it's originally about what is a character from said medium that you enjoy, but that doesn't quite apply. So, sometimes our engagement with a piece of media comes from a position of relativity. Do you have an animal that you relate to?
I have favourite animals. I always grew up as a cat person. Very strongly, and then my parents got a dog, and then suddenly that just opened like I'm not a cat person, I'm an everything person. I love all animals, so I find it really hard, but red pandas in this game and in real life are so dopey and cute. It's just brilliant.
I've heard a lot about the red panda like craze, not even of late, just in general. It's like, I don't get it, but okay. Whatever people like, I guess.
Yeah, they're just really, really cute. And I've actually seen them in real life. Like despite being quite a preachy vegan, I have been to a lot of zoos in my time. Certainly before I was vegan, and I've travelled all over the world. I'm quite lucky to be quite well travelled. So I've been to China and seen like the Beijing Olympic pandas there and that kind of thing. And I love, they're just so cute. Like, but then red pandas they're really small, so they've got that kind of extra. They don't ever stop being cute.
And they try to stand up and make themselves more intimidating, which only adds to that factor.
Yes, they don't ever look not cute, no matter what they're trying to do. And I'm one that I can find the cute in pretty much anything, but some animals they lends themselves a bit better.
Yeah, others you got to dig a little bit deeper for. It's like, what is wrong with this chameleon?
And then I find it really exciting when like I've had like two cheetahs and they've both been quite like low on the fertility scale, and then they'll get finally they'll have a baby, or like there'll be like it'll be like two cheetahs cubs, and I'll be like, oh my god, and I'll be really excited and then you've got little baby cheetahs running around and playing and being really cute, and you've got all these different toys that you can put in, but the animals get bored, so you do have to like the toys sort of lose their appeal. So it's kind of like with toddlers, you do have to sort of have them on a bit of a rota, because if you just chuck in all of them, they'll get kind of equally bored with them.
Yeah, you got to recycle their enrichment.
Yeah, it is called enrichment in the game as well. It's just the proper term for it, which is a very real thing. I'm currently loving with my pets, finding out new things for them to play with. They've currently got a little like dog chew in their cage, and they're having a great time with that.
Question 9. A lot of these types of interviews rely on the question of what would you bring with you to a desert island in order to get to know a person. But that's not this show. What we ask instead is to picture this scenario. You're on a deserted island with no hope of rescue, but food, water, shelter, and all that has been taken care of you so that you won't succumb before your natural time. You've also been provided with a single piece of media and the means to engage with it, and for you it is Planet Zoo. How frequently would you utilise it, and how long would it take for you to be sick of it?
Do I get access to the Steam network?
No, but you do get currently all of the packs available.
Oh, okay. So I can't see what other people are building.
No, sorry.
No. Okay, then I probably would get bored of it. Like, I mean, I think there's a sort of a finite amount you can play of anything before you're like, oh, I just want to do something else. I would probably go down the route of like, what else can I use this game for? So, like, some people have built cities, or like, you made really fantastic buildings, which the game doesn't really lend itself to. It's much more supposed to be like little shacks and things like that. So I'd probably do that and expand.
Not like a moon base or a prison or a literal city designed for the animals.
I've seen one of them, and it had like, I think it had like cheetahs in like a strip club.
Yep.
Where they'd put like they'd made like seating and then a little stage which had just a whole pile of cheetah corpses because they hadn't fed them or anything.
Mm-hmm. I think we've seen the same video.
Yeah. It's a good video, and it just shows what the game is capable of. So yeah, I mean it's good in that respect, but I think I would also probably dip into what you're allowed to take the creative works of Shakespeare with you as well normally, aren't you? The complete works of Shakespeare. That's one of the rules.
On other like interviews and shows, yes.
Yes. I'm thinking of Desert Island Discs. I'm not sure if that's made it over the pond, but yeah, they get like the complete works of Shakespeare to bring with them. It's a really good game. I mean, it just sounds like a nice holiday actually. Like go to a nice desert island with all the amenities I need, and then I can also play one of my favorite video games at the same time.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. A lot of people just go, "Oh yeah, I'd love this," with no thought of how to escape.
Oh. No, escape's futile. If I've been put there, I'd assume there was some sort of reason.
Yeah, to see how long it takes you to figure out how to escape.
It depends on how long it is between DLC releases.
Yeah, fair.
Because you could just sabotage my escape plan by like releasing a new DLC when I'm halfway through building the raft.
Yeah.
And like, okay, she's good for another couple of months.
Yeah, let's reel her back in. But that is all the questions I had, so thank you for indulging me.
Oh, thank you for letting me talk about it. I hope it's... are you going to get the game?
I'm going to try. But hopefully that's given people a little bit of a deeper insight into your perspective.
Yeah. It is
So,
very good if you like control and managing things and getting things to do what you want them to do.
so this would normally be where the sponsor break goes in, but we already had that, so you just get subjected to the worst part of the show, which is me talking for the follow-up review from last episode's enemy of the show and self-proclaimed horrid little worm, L, and their recommendation of Let the Blood Run Free. Is this something that you're familiar with?
No. I'm not
It
Googling it.
is a utterly bizarre Australian improvised sitcom melodrama. I think it did make it over that side of the pond in the early 90s.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
It's giving me sort of Garth Marenghi's Dark Place kind of vibes.
honestly, I was surprised to find that out because it's like, I don't know anyone here who knows what it is, let alone to be popular enough to ship off. Dear God, is it insane?
It looks weird.
It's based out of like an improv stage show that they were doing where the audience could vote on what happens next, which they also carried over to the TV show. I think it was like one of the first TV shows to ever do that sort of interactive voting thing.
Oh, okay.
So nowadays you get like all the Big Brother and whatnot. It's like, oh, vote someone out of the house or whatever. But no, these actually affected their storylines.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, it is. It just goes so off the rails. It's not even funny. I can see a lot of...
Isn't that kind of the point of a comedy? Is it a comedy?
Yes. Yes, bizarrely.
Technically. Is it only technically a comedy?
Oh, no, it is absolutely balls to the wall comedy, but the amount of how hard it goes, there should be a Stack Overflow error. But yeah, there's just so much of just the skeletons of the backbone of Australian comedy in it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's bizarrely fundamental. And yeah, I guess if you want the full review, check out the last episode. But other than that, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Because I recommended it myself, so I can't really say anything but that.
Okay. I'll give that a watch, maybe. I'm not going to make any promises here because it looks a bit strange, but I'll...
Yeah. Would you say you'd check this out? Aha.
I will check.
I mean, if you can't laugh, you cry.
Ain't that the truth?
But now, before we wrap up the final ever episode of Check This Out for this recording session, and 17th time I've made that joke, could you please tell the audience where they might find you online and if you have anything to advertise?
So, yeah, I'm part of the triplet that makes up Hey, I Love That Movie, alongside my co-hosts Dan and Mikey. We host a podcast that's all about movie nostalgia and how much it affects rewatching films, seeing if they still hold up, and occasionally they do. Occasionally they don't, and your sweet, sweet memories of the film are lost forever. It's a good time. Yeah, we've just got a Patreon, so you can find that if you Google Hey, I Love That Movie, Patreon, or if you go to Patreon and type in Hey, I Love That Movie, it comes up. You can also find me more specifically. I'm at Helena K. Heath, because my middle name is Karen. And someone already had the handle Helena Heath. So that's me. We have a Discord, so come say hi on that. And yeah, I'm also looking for a job. So if anyone's hiring researchers in and around the Birmingham area, let me know.
Advertisers, you gave us that ad read earlier. Get on it.
I will also work with baby animals.
Soul. Yes. I assumed that
research
was a given.
baby animals, yeah.
And that's on Twitter at Hilton Pod, is it?
Hiltm Pod. And you can find me there at Helena K Heath, and we're also on Instagram.
A very good podcast. I've loved listening to it.
Well, we had a very good guest on the other day for our special Easter episode. Well,
yeah, I'll have to listen to that one.
It was a good time. Yep, still got the little deep fried critters burned into my brain.
Well, I mean, they are deep fried. They're not going anywhere else. But on that note, I've been Al.
And I've been Helena.
And this has been Check This Out, a podcast of media positivity. And remember, even a blind squirrel is right twice a day.